Yeah,
Those are all the knock-on effects of
COVID.
the pandemic, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Biden in the U.S. is saying that the U.S. is going to look into kind of revamping their own capacity as far as like building microchips, so they're not necessarily dependent on China, because the economy got so intertwined with China since like the 90s, and now they're trying to untangle it a little bit, which is probably a good thing. I mean, even for us, like just certain things like drug and vaccine manufacturing, I mean, we really should, even if it costs a bit more, we should be just making it here if we can, right? I mean,
Well, they have. Sorry, they have started doing it. Actually, they've started. Winnipeg is actually purchasing a large vaccine shipment that's been made within Canada. So we're starting to do it more. It's just that we'll see it actually, if it'll actually continue or not in like 10 to 20 years, when those chip manufacturers and vaccine manufacturers, maybe not vaccine manufacturers, but chip manufacturers, when it's like, well, I could start saving that 10 cents again on every chip if I go back to China again. Mm-hmm. So you're going to start seeing people, you may see it ramp up in the United States or North America for a little while, but I think that we'll see it start shifting over back across overseas again.
Well, part of me wonders is like, it's sort of like IT. Remember how it was cheap forever to send everything over to India? But nowadays, I think the latest stat I saw, it's like you only save it's like 85 cents on the dollar to go offshore versus whatever problems they have. I'm wondering if the manufacturing in China is kind of the same way, where it's less, it's less about saving money, just more, hey, all your stuff is there. You have your mining, you have your minerals, you have all the supply lines, so why shift it at this point? Because you'd have to rebuild all that over here. So I don't think it's saving on labor. I think it's really just, just reconfiguring your supply lines for it to make sense.
So tunnel through the earth, and then just make a right-hand turn and come up in China.
Take the right-hand turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah, at Albuquerque. Come up in China.
Say sure thing, Elon Musk.
I enjoy how the
building your tunnels through the earth
on something that's a sphere. It's annoyingly how geometry works in your world.
Well, you don't know what orientation you're standing at when you make the right-hand turn.
All right.
Well, no, you stand in the place where you were, then face west.
There you go. See?
That's a valid point. I never thought about that.
So I was wondering how Canadian are you guys? You guys are pretty Canadian?
I don't like hockey, so I think that disqualifies me from being Canadian.
I don't like poutine.
How do you not like poutine?
I'm not a poutine fan either.
You guys are crazy.
I don't like mushy fries.
And mushy.
Then you're not getting the right poutine then.
No, I don't like gravy on fries either, to be honest.
I just don't like gravy, so.
It's weird that you guys don't like, especially Troy doesn't like gravy, because
I like
he
gravy.
eats everything.
I don't like it on fries.
You like gravy on potatoes? Like on mashed potatoes?
Yeah, just that doesn't do it for me on fries. I don't know why.
So do you like a deconstructed poutine? Being
so.
Gravy, fries, and cheese all separate?
Yeah.
Just intermingled? No.
Nope.
All right. Well, I happen to have a quiz here on being Canadian.
Oh dear.
So this quiz is
citizenship
test. Is this the official government of Canada?
No, it's not.
Test you can't be Canadian.
No, because if it is, then we're all going to get deported. That's my guess on that one. I seriously think that I would fail a citizenship test.
I find these very stressful. You did this in the last podcast, the last version of this podcast as well, and I find these quizzes very stressful. I don't like. It seems
too much
like
pressure on Rob.
I feel like I'm.
It's a question and an answer. I don't understand what the pressure. It's not costing you your life or anything. It's
well, it's just costing me my dignity. I think it's just.
You have dignity, all right.
I'm sweating. I'm literally sweating. Not literally.
Well, at a very, very minute rate.
It makes sense. You do appear to be sitting under some sort of massive solar lamp.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. That may be the problem.
That's
The heat lamp.
That's Rob's halo actually shining down on him. Is what it really is. So just off the cuff, as it were. So this is something that was done by Cool FM, and it's just a quick quiz about Canada. And I'm just wondering how many we can get these right, or how many of these get right without without googling it, of course. So how many points does a maple leaf on the Canadian flag have?
I want to say it's 13. But that
Wait.
seems unlucky. So 15?
15? Yeah, I think 15.
15 sounds right.
Maybe 16? I don't know.
Do you count the stem?
Wait, 1, 2, 3,
No.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 or 14.
So there's 11.
Well, we were
11
close.
11 points in all.
I knew it was a prime number. I should have stuck with my instincts.
Which city is home to North America's largest mall?
Edmonton.
That is correct, Edmonton.
I don't think it should count, though. It has like a big old water park in the middle of it. I don't think that should count as part of the mall.
It's an indoor water park, though, so
Yeah.
it's part of the mall.
But it's like you can just bolt on water parks and roller coasters and say you have the biggest. I have the biggest falafel stand because
I used to like water parks, and then I got to thinking about water parks. And like,
And then you got old.
I've been to like
urine than water.
right, like I've been to water park. I went to Great Wolf Lodge a couple times with the kid. Like, but like when you think about it for just 2 seconds, water parks are gross. Like just
Giant bathtub.
think about it, just
Communal.
disgusting. Like,
It's the
why
same
are
thing
we
with
doing
a
this
pool. It's the same thing with a public pool. Like it's, but that's why they use chlorine and stuff like that to try to clean it.
There's no way chlorine is fixing that much.
Not that much, no.
Like,
But
That
then,
much grossness.
Also, community baths.
yeah.
yeah. Like, it's
Also, going into the ocean as well. Like you go into a lake, go swimming in a lake. You think that that's perfectly clean as well?
oh, I suppose not. But at least you have the benefit of being out. There's other benefits to going into like swimming outside that you don't get for swimming in an indoor
In a
pool.
mall.
So you
mall.
prefer fish urine to human urine? That's what I'm hearing here.
Yeah.
Weird kink, but okay.
Yeah. Dead fish floating by you. You're like, yay!
I'm living. This is life.
And I know the lazy pool. We as a side note, we on our honeymoon we went to a water park. There was one just down like
On your honeymoon?
Yeah, it was just down the highway from us. It was it's like Water Park USA or something like that. It's like a large water park in the US. And the only thing we did was get 2 like lazy river like the tubes and just float the lazy river because it was a massive lazy river. We pretty much just floated that the entire time for like 2 hours.
Have you ever heard of, I think it's called Adventureland or something? Or Adventure, what's it
In
called?
New
There's a place
Jersey?
yeah, the one in New Jersey. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's closed now, but
Right, but it was closed only recently, like the past few years. But it was like, there's a documentary on I think Prime about it. But I watched a doc on YouTube, which is also about it.
Action
And
Park?
it's what's that?
Action Park.
Action Park. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't the one where they didn't test the slide properly and like kids died or something?
People died. It's
Do
the
you want
slide
to
was
go?
horrible. The slide was horrible. The swinging rope thing, like the Tarzan rope across the water, that thing was horrible. There's a bunch of stuff they did was horrible.
I'm just wondering if Troy wants to go back out to his shed there with that laugh. They all-
That is
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of incidents I'm reading about right now. That's why I was laughing. There's like a big category on Wikipedia that says fatalities.
yeah.
yeah, Action Park is a lot of death.
Yeah. As far as I know, nobody.
Huge.
Yeah. As far as I know, nobody died when we were at whatever the Water Park USA or whatever. But I didn't check into it at the time.
Wow, this place was
He was in
built
the lazy
horribly
river,
too.
so you know.
It was. Yeah, you're right, Troy.
So many people died in the tidal wave pool. Like one dude stepped on a grate in the tidal wave pool, and there was a live wire that was exposed. So the grate was like live,
Electrifying.
and he stepped on it and died because he went into cardiac arrest from it. And then like 4 people died in this wave pool. Like I was like, I wouldn't be in this damn pool. Like it's the majority of the deaths.
Like the other one, what was the other one? There was the go-kart things, like or the bumper boats were like people got burns from the motors and stuff, and like it was the guy. I think the owner couldn't get insured, so he started his own insurance company, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Some guy jumped his car off of the Alpine slide, and his head hit a rock when he fell off. And he died instantly, and then the employee that was talking to the reporters said that he was an employee, so they wouldn't have to report his death to the state.
Right. Yeah, it was.
Oh God!
It's horrible.
Good times. Good times.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this was not like that at all. But I have heard stories about Action Park. I listened to a couple of other podcasts, and one of them is located in New Jersey, and they talk about Action Park and the horrors of when they were children and going to Action Park.
Yeah.
So, I think the worst that I've ever had, but 2 small incidents at, well, maybe 3 incidents at water parks. One was at Wally World, which was a water park in London, Ontario. Where the bullet, at the time, I'm a smaller person. I'm a shorter guy. And when I was younger, I was lean as well, as not anymore, but I was lean. And they're like, oh, when you get on the slide and you go down the bullet, which is like the steep slide, don't lift up your head. As I was going at the very start of the slide, said, don't lift your head, and I didn't hear that. So I was trying to look backwards because I didn't know what he had said as I'm trying to go down the slide, and I lifted off of the slide. And it wasn't until the bottom that I actually slammed my back in the bottom of the slide again. There's also a water park in Canada's Wonderland where they have like it's like I don't know what it's called. It's like a toilet one where you come down on a floaty and you go round and round and round and round and eventually get deposited in the center through the bottom. And me and another person that were on it at the time, the other person that was on it weighed a lot more than I did, so he literally whipped me and my side of this shared tube out of this bowl as we went up the one side. And it was just me holding onto the tube and going back over the side again that kind of stopped me from flying out of this bowl.
Holy shit. So this is why water parks are scary. This is why no one should have water parks.
Like we went to Keith and I and a few other people, we went to Costa Rica a few years ago, and this resort they had built a couple slides and one of those flushy bowl thingies, and one of the people with Will practically ripped his toe off for the second time in Costa Rica, by the way, going down this flush bowl thing, and I was going down it. I did it exactly once, and then I realized that the edges coming out were completely uneven, like the plastic didn't meet up properly. And then I went down like one of those slides, that kind of lifting up experience, and then kind of the same thing when you go down. Then when you get towards the bottom, your back basically slams up against the slide again. And this is after I kind of hurt my back a few weeks back, and I was like, yeah, no, no, I'm not doing this again.
When I was at a water park, I forget what it was called though. There was like this one slide where it went up, like it went down and then up suddenly, and it wrapped around. And like when I was going down it, I almost felt like I was going to fly off of it. Well, we're sitting down in the pool at the bottom, and as I'm saying that to my friend, I watched another person who was heavier speed down it and flew off the side. And I'm like, there you go.
So he ejected from the slide?
Yeah.
Was he okay? Like, what did he land on?
His ass, but he was all right.
Okay, but like, Did he land in cement? Did he land in water? Did he?
It was grass. It probably
Oh.
really